Sara Louise Aston!
Hello everyone. Hello. Hello. So I'm Sara Lou Aston. I'm a comedian, and I use the term comedian because I've got a bit of French in me. Well, I did 20 years ago. I am a fairy. I'm a fairy at weekends. I'm a fairy at Christmas, because we all love a Christmas fairy, don't we? I'm a fairy on my birthday, because I love to dress up. I'm a fairy on my husband's birthday. He likes to dress up. He looks lovely when he's got his fairy wings on, like a human sanitary towel. But he says he absorbs a lot. Oh, he's full of shit. Yeah. So being a fairy, you have magic powers. Now, I wasn't granted with speed, or the magic power of strength, or the magic power to see through people's clothes to their underwear. But I was granted with the power to, well, it's what Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Batman, Elsa, they all wanted this. Temporal lobe epilepsy! Woohoo! Woohoo! So it enables me to disappear, which my husband's delighted by. And but when I say disappear, I suffer from absences. So my mind just sort of takes a wander. If that happens, use that as an interval. Grab a drink, go to the toilet, I'll be back. Just make sure you come back. Yeah? Yeah, okay. So obviously being a fairy, you have a unicorn. I don't. I'm on a budget, but I've got my Twinkle, my cat. Oh, I know. We were singing lots in lockdown. Birds do it, bees do it, even educated fleas do it. And Twinkle sings back. I say, Twinkle, you singing back at Mummy. I want to actually send an application off for her to Britain's Got Talent, but Twinkle isn't a fan of Simon Cowell, or Simon Scowl as she calls him. I say, Twinkle, we both know that's not true. He's had so much Botox and fillers, we don't actually know what the expression is on his face. But Twinkle, she loves singing, and she sings to dogs as well, which is really lovely. They say, don't they, that you start to look like your pets, don't you? I did during lockdown. I had whiskers growing out of my face like you wouldn't believe, because the beauty clinics were closed. Even Twinkle's looking at me going, is that Mummy, or am I looking in the mirror? It's me, Twinkle. And so it was just Twinkle and I in the house, because my husband was considered a key worker. So while he was out making keys, we were just singing and doing lots of things. But one day I was just leaning up against the wall by the main door, and my husband came in and he picked me up and he started sweeping the kitchen floor with me because I was all bristly. Oh, I got swept off my feet though. And the floor's really clean. Another thing I did during lockdown, I learned a bit of sign language. So I learned, do you know what that is? Twinkle. Oh, yeah. And this, S-A-R-A. That's me. Well, I was trying to learn Sara Lou, Lou by name, Lou by nature. I've got IBS. I'm always in that Lou. Yeah, it's like a Groupon treat. Oh, hello, I'm here again. Yeah, so everyone was doing courses during lockdown, weren't they? Did anyone do any courses during lockdown? Hardly anyone was doing courses during lockdown, were they? But I did a course. It took me 7 days and I completed it. I didn't get a certificate, but I'm so proud of myself. And I can safely say I can now put my contact lenses in. It only takes me a few seconds, because it was taking me 49 minutes before. Yeah. Another thing, I was getting a bit paranoid during lockdown. So every time with my body issues, I'd walk past the mirror and I'd be like, have I put on weight? Because I'm just sitting at home singing with Twinkle, you know, and you start to get a bit paranoid. And then when I was taking selfies and uploading them on Facebook to make out I was having the best time of my life during lockdown, because, you know, we were on the same boat, and I started to like kind of count my chins and think, oh, are they having a party? Are they breeding? Are they? Bugger off. Thing is, I had an eating disorder when I was 16, and it started when I was 16, and I lived in a tiny village called Dinton in Buckinghamshire. It was tiny. There were hardly any people. In fact, next door were sheep. Honestly, the jumpers I got at Christmas were lovely, right? So there was a party happening, and when a party happens in the village, it's like the equivalent to a royal wedding, or Glastonbury, or Katy Perry performing at the O2. I love it. Yeah, so it was a really, really big deal. So to be invited to this party was amazing, really exciting. I really fancied this boy, and he looked like Ryan Giggs. He had like the curtains, and he held a football, so it was uncanny. It was like, but he didn't fancy me, but that was fine because it was the 90s, and back then we didn't have Twitter, so I literally followed him. Hello! 3 buses it took, but, no. But there was another boy at the party, and he started chatting me up, and I was like, oh, hello. Ryan might get jealous. And this boy I'm not going to name, because we're not going to give you his real name, because when I was 30, I know I'm not 30 now, my gosh, looks so good, yeah I know. Botox darling, Botox. So when I was 30 I was doing a lot of online dating, and when you do online dating you invest a lot of time into a particular person, because then that sort of relationship develops from the talking through the portal, then you go onto the emails, like, oh, you know each other's personal emails. Then it goes to text messaging, which is like marriage in the dating site world, isn't it? Well, we got to this moment, we were texting, it was really exciting. It's like, oh, here comes the bride. Anyway, the night before we were due to meet up, this guy texted me and said, I'm really sorry, Sara, I can't meet up with you because I'm scared you'll talk about me in your comedy. Yeah. He was a knob. I've never spoken about him in my comedy until now, and I don't remember his name. So going back to this boy at the party, I won't mention his real name, I'm just going to call him Willie, because I find that really amusing. So Willie's chatting me up and he says, Sara, do you fancy going for a walk? And I'm like, I love walking! I'm really good at it. It's good, isn't it? Really good, really. Except I felt a bit ripped off because it wasn't really a walk. It was more like a giant step. So, you know, I humoured him. Sort of stood by a wall. Hello, wall! I felt like Shirley Valentine. Hello, wall! So I'm standing by this wall, and then Willie starts to kiss me. I'm like, oh, hello! And I kiss him back, because you've got to do a bit for the community, haven't you? So I'm kissing him back, and it's my first kiss. I'm thinking, if this is kissing, you can bloody well have it. I don't want it. And it reminded me that all I've got to do my washing. It was like a spin dryer, you know, like froth and bubbles. Like, I'm drowning! Get me armbands! And then it made me think of when some Labradors licked and kissed me, and I really loved that, because I love Labradors, and I was wishing he was a Labrador, and I thought, at least I'll get a guaranteed walk. Do you know what I mean? I felt really, really ripped off, and I said, Willie, do you mind if we go back to the party now? Of course we don't mind, Sara, of course we don't mind. So I went back to the party, and I went to where the girls were sitting, and Willie went to the boys were sitting, and it was like that scene in Grease, you know, the musical, where Sandy's telling the girls how she had summer loving with Danny, and obviously Willie's with the boys, and it's like when Danny's telling the girls, telling the boys rather, that he got Sandy down in the sand. Sand in your pants, yeah, down in the sand. Yeah, I know, it's like, oh my God, is that John Travolta? No, it's not John Travolta. Anyway, so I really kind of played up this story to the girls, like, yeah, it was an amazing kiss. It was brilliant, because you want to give them a nice, you know, fairy tale of a story, don't you? The next day, found out I was a bet. Yeah, Willie bet with his friends, including Ryan Giggs, that he could get me into bed. Now, I'm not being funny. Unless he was planning a trip to Dreams, I do not remember there being a bed. There was a wall, but there was no bed. Yes, and I'm assuming it wasn't to read me a bedtime story, although I love Rapunzel. Lay down your hair. Yeah, so, and if he'd won the bet, he would have won 2 beers and a condom. I know he's got a drinking problem. I really felt for him, and obviously every Willie needs a condom. So, yeah, well anyway, obviously Willie lost the bet, and I lost my appetite, and I had this eating disorder until I was in my 30s. And then I started to think, well, why is it? Whenever you're trying to forget about men, everything reminds you of them. You get on the tube in the morning and you've got those seats, unsturdy, uncomfortable, there's never one available when you want one. Then you've got the posters on the display boards of the tube carriages bragging about something you're just not interested in. As for the platforms, the various tube stations that take you on the way to the office, Wood Green could be keen. Piccadilly, Piccawilly, yeah, did that, look what happened. Cockfosters, do you see the problem I have? Yeah, then I went home to my husband. He reminds me of men, and I just wish, I know, so selfish. I just wished that when I was trying to watch my weight properly and everything, that people had, well, I wish I'd listened. To lose weight and maintain your weight, you just exercise. So I started running, like in my late 30s. And one day I stepped outside the front door and all these people are running along the side of the road. And I was like, well, hello, I can do this. So I started running along with them. Yeah, and I got to the end and I got a lovely necklace, or as a medal, husband calls it, tomato, tomato. I'd just done the London Marathon. I only popped out to get glitter for husband because he's trying to highlight his cheekbones. Yeah. And I caught up with an old friend of mine. I tried to catch up with him. Bloody Mo. It's like, come on, Sara, come on, Sara. I'll see you in a castle in Wales, Mo. I'm not catching up with you. Yeah. So I've kept running. And whenever I go running, I imagine I'm Pamela Anderson in a red bathing suit and the Baywatch theme tune is playing. But I do this when there's a really attractive man running towards me. Sexy, isn't it? Are you turned on, men? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm doing my job properly. Yeah, but I'll be really honest, when the man's gone by, I just go straight into Phoebe from Friends mode. Do you know what I mean? Oh my God, I can't be bothered, I can't keep that up. Yeah, so I love running, I do a bit of yoga, I love dancing and everything. And a few weeks ago, I was walking out of Tesco's, because I like walking, and 3 guys are walking towards me. They look like a boy band. Do you remember Blazing Squad? Yeah, it reminded me of Blazing Squad, and I think they've been to an all-night of a party. They're about 25, 26. I could smell the alcohol on them. And they were wearing their trousers like down there, so you could see the trim of their boxers. You know, it said Calvin Klein or something. I swear they said days of the week. I had Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday walking towards me. Yeah, and there was no Craig David. Yeah, I know. Anyway, Monday says to me, hey, you look like Whitney Houston. Oh, thanks. You've heard me sing. Thank you very much. Tuesday, I don't understand Tuesday as a weekday because although, you know, Mondays are a bit of a rubbish day, but you've just had the weekend, you're all hyped up. Yeah, I did this, I did that. Wednesday is like hump day, so, you know, there might be a promise of sex. But then you're near Thursday, which is near the weekend, then you're back to the weekend again. But what is Tuesday all about? It's irrelevant. Guy number 2 was Tuesday. He said nothing. He was like a support act or an audience member or just completely overwhelmed by my beauty. Don't laugh, CJ. Humour me. Anyway, Wednesday, on the other hand, guy number 3, he went, yeah, not only do you look like Whitney Houston, you look like a shaggy sheep. I said, thank you very much. I got home and I said to husband, I said, oh, what happened? I said, yeah. And then he said, I like Whitney Houston and all the other sheep and everything. And he went, oh, baby, at the end of the day, I will always love you. I was like, oh, no, he didn't call me a shaggy sheep. Call me a sheep shagger. That was it. Because I remember thinking, what does a sheep shagger look like? Apparently it's me. Anyway, I have been Sara Lou Aston. You've been absolutely lovely. Bye.